Hey, how we doing? Well, a little closer today, huh, Rob?
Everybody ready? Roger, any good?
Yes, sir.
Coach, you can give us an opening statement and we'll floor for questions.
Yeah, coming off a big weekend down in Florida for our football team. Big win at Bragg against a solid FAMU program. Can't say enough though about our football team, my players, and the coaches for their performance. Coming off a tough loss in Vegas on a couple weeks ago, but very pleased with what I saw this past weekend. I thought in all three phases we played a very good game. This past weekend, a night game. We hadn't played at night in a while, but our players was up for it, but hats off to the players on this football team, the coaches. They go through a lot. We hear a lot. We get a lot of criticism here. And, these guys do a good job of blocking all that out, playing through it. Also the fans, too, that showed up. I know a lot of them, it was kind of taxing to, make that trip from Vegas and then, to see the turnout down there in Tallahassee. Was really good for our football team. They really thrived off that energy from them as well. The boom was there and everything, but just very pleased overall with our coaches and our players in this game.
Coach, not having Jacobian obviously in this game, but you guys just really turned out, had a successful game. Can you just touch on that?
We didn't have him, but he was there. He did a good job of being engaged with Jared throughout that football game, but injuries happen. Injuries happen, we believe in Jared, those guys at the quarterback position. He went out there, he was shaky early on, but we did a good job as a staff, adjusting some things at the half. The defense did a good job of rallying around him. They played excellent, I thought, Saturday night. Holding them, I think, to 200 yards of total offense. And that's what you're going to need when you got a freshman out there. But once Jared settled in, we didn't really ask a lot of him. I think he threw the ball twice in the second half. One was a touchdown to Nate Rember. Ahmad and Denario Davenport, they ran the ball, viciously throughout the football game. So that's what's got to happen, going forward. People got to step up around him and, till he settles in football games. And, we just got to be solid around him as a program.
Coach, what did you tell him in the second half? Because there were times where he obviously just wasn't fully seeing the field like you needed him to, and then of course the miscue where you guys could have added that touchdown.
Yeah.
What was
You talking about to Jared?
Yeah, to Jared.
Oh, okay. I just told him to settle in. I told him it's a lot tougher than what you thought. His last start was against Tuskegee, not taking nothing away from them, but FAMU is a good program. And the speed of the game was moving a little different. He had some opportunities, like you said. He had the fumble down in the red zone, missed a touchdown to Denario early on in that game, and he could have tanked it, but he kept fighting. I told him those plays are going to happen. I told him you basically got to trust your teammates around him. We believe in you. You see your teammates are here cheering you along, and he just came out and responded. I said, you don't have to go out here and be just great. You just got to go out here and do your job.
You guys almost had almost 200 yards against Grambling, but obviously massive performance on the ground. How good did it see? How good did it feel to see Ahmad get back to his regular self this week?
Sure, we need it. Trying to finish this season out. We know we're going to get teams best, but in order to win championships, when you're talking about you're chasing the East Division championship right now, you got to be able to run the football. And, we got two big backs. We got a bunch of backs, but two big guys in here that can run the football with some authority and get us out of football games. I think Denario had 15. I think Mod around 16, 17 carries. They did a heck of a job. Travis came in the end, and, he scored in the end. And Nate had a carry in the game. Amari had a couple carries. But that's what you got to be able to do. And, I put a lot of pressure on our offensive line coach, Manny Ramirez, co-OC. They do a great job up there, Quay Davis, Mason, all those guys, Bam Williams, DeAndre Towns, Blue, and Muda. They just do a great job of wanting to dominate the line of scrimmage, and they own me all the time. Coach, let's keep running the ball. So when their confidence is up, that's what we're going to do.
How important was it for your defense to get back on track and reestablish themselves in the way they played against you?
It was very important. Again, you're trying to finish these last 4 games right now. at a high level. So you got to be playing good defense. I always say that defense wins championships, and we're recouping some bodies now. You know, Kanye Varner is making an impact on the football field. You're just starting to see him, you know, make flashes. Quincy's still doing his thing, but they're playing good as a whole. You know, Coach Quinn is a high-level DC. Javancy Jones, all those guys, Justin Sanders, our linebackers coach, Mario, all those guys are doing a great job of letting those guys go out there, play, and not do as much thinking. You know, that's what you're seeing, a lot of athletes flying around. Also, too, we're playing a lot of bodies. We're able to keep people fresh throughout the football game. I thought that was key the other night.
Coach, it goes without saying, Mississippi Valley, a rivalry game. Obviously, no one's taking them lightly. They went toe-to-toe with Bethune-Cookman.
No doubt.
What's been your message to your team just to start off the week, knowing to not overlook Valley?
Yeah, it's just what you just said. You know, as a player, all I can remember is like that was one of the more physical games. They're going to come out and play hard, you know, especially at their place. And we got to take each opponent serious right now. I think they threw for over 400 yards in that game. They scored a lot of points. They've been scoring points. So we just got to, you know, take it one quarter at a time and not, like you said, take that team lightly. We got to go out here and execute just like we're getting ready for any other opponent.
You guys scored 6 straight possessions in the second half. What does that mean to you?
We did. I didn't realize that. Okay, it's huge. You know, tight ball game at the half. So we had to come out and try to find a way to separate, you know, and I always challenge, that's why we love to defer to get that ball back in the third quarter, to go out there. I like the offense to set the tone in the second half, and I thought they did a good job of that. But again, it goes back to the physicality that our offensive line plays with up front. And then just find ways to get the ball in the playmaker's hand. You know, we only threw the ball twice, like I said, in the second half, but one of them was to Nate Rembert. We know what he can do when you get him in space, and he had another explosive run. So that's what we press our offense to do that. You know, we wanted to get our opportunities up this game as opposed to Gremlin. I think we only had like 7 possessions in that game. We had a lot of opportunities, and if our defense continue to give us opportunities on offense to score, we're going to score points.
The one thing I wanted to ask you, Coach, penalties. Obviously,
Yeah.
dominant performance, but penalties kind of added up in that first half.
Mhm.
Like, what's been the issue there, or like, what are you telling your players to kind of, you know, fix that going forward?
Yeah, the issue we have with penalties right now is we don't want to be bullied by nobody, you know, and we preach that as a coaching staff, and our kids really take that to heart, you know, and they got to understand that, do that in between the whistle. You know, we knew FAM was a team that they play off of just playing bully ball at times, and we stress that each and every week. The ones that they out there just playing hard, the holes and everything, those are just on the refs of that, but it's the unsportsmanlike like that DeAndre Towns Blue had on the 1 yard line at the back. So that kind of ticked me off right there. Cam Silas, we get off the field on third down. He gets an unsportsmanlike, and they go down and score. Those are the ones that we're addressing. We addressed at practice today. So I just got to continue to stress it, you know, and right now we're able to overcome those things right now. But again, I'm going to continue to stress and we'll continue to punish them and try to move forward on these penalties.
Anybody else? All right.
Good to go. Thank y'all.